What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I have a very hilarious story about Mark Carney and his riding of Nepean to share with you today, but also some concerns as we head into the federal election. Again, join me tonight for the French debate live stream here on the channel, and also tomorrow for the English debates. Hopefully, Pierre's going to slap Mark Carney around. If Mark Carney bails by any means, I think it's going to be disastrous for the Liberals. It's not going to bode well for them. But join me regardless. We'll be streaming those debates. It's going to be a fun time. And then join me Friday for Friday Night Fringe. Little bit of a shift happening in the federal polls or in the federal election. I'm not too happy about censorship at its highest regard. We're going to get into that later in the video. It's a new form of censorship. It's a form of trying to fix the votes. And I'm going to show you what we're talking about. But first, I want to remind everybody when we're talking about censorship, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. We're growing at an alarming rate. We're hoping to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this campaign trail, the end of the election. It would be fantastic to hit that mark, ladies and gentlemen. Don't just do it because we're asking you to. Do it if you want to get your news, if you don't want to be censored out from the liberal media, if you don't want to be censored out by the strong arm of the government that is doing everything right now to censor these videos, to stop these videos from coming out. We won't stop here. Other creators aren't stopping. Make sure you follow every Canadian political content creator you follow on this platform. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell next to it for all notifications so that you're alerted whenever new videos drop on the platform and you never miss a beat. You're not relying on mainstream media or false facts. With that said, let's get into what we have to share today. A little bit of fun humor before we get into the alarming story, because I wanted to find a way to share this out beyond a live stream. I think it's great, and it needs to be shown because Mark Carney's in trouble. I've often said, wouldn't it be great if we get through this election and Mark Carney doesn't even win his riding in Nepean? If Barbara Ball absolutely decimates Mark Carney and he doesn't even win his seat, I think that would be absolutely hilarious. With that said, I want to cover this account. Mario Zelaya, if you don't know Mario, he's over on X. You can find him at Mario for the North. Posts a lot of great video clips, a lot of great content. He's talking about the Nepean riding here, and it says Carney is 100% going to fire somebody on his team. LOL. He's walking into a campaign trap of embarrassment in Nepean. It's happening literally right now. Here's Mark Carney's biggest campaign blunder. You guys are going to love this because I watched it and absolutely had a laugh. Here we go.
Everyone's going to want to see this. This is Mark Carney, and he's pulling up somewhere, and you will have no idea where he's pulling up right now. I'll give you a hint. It's in Nepean, and I'll also give you a hint. This is one of the worst political blunders I think he's done in his whole campaigning in that area. Here's why. See, Mark Carney's not from there. He's got absolutely zero idea of the riding or the history. This is where he's showing up to right now. This is the Ottawa Sikh Society, as you can see. Now, here's the thing. The candidate that he's going against, Barbara Ball, she got married there. This is her. This is Dave. That's her husband. That's them together with Pierre poilievre. And there's a reason they're wearing blue. In that first video, you saw someone walk by and they were wearing blue. This is Barbara Ball. You can't make this stuff up. This is Barbara Ball. You'll see it later today. Mark Carney is going to be there exactly where she got married. You have no idea how big of a political embarrassment this is for Mark Carney. He has no idea that all these people that he's going there to talk to, they all support Barbara Ball. She's married to a Sikh. She got married there.
I mean, it's quite hilarious when you think about it that Barbara Ball, being married to a Sikh man, gets married where Mark Carney goes to shill and pander for votes, only to find out that everybody there supports Barbara because they're all part of the same community. Now, hold your reservations where you want to. I think it's hilarious. Again, Barbara follows this channel. I think she's amazing. I really hope, with all the shenanigans that have been going on in Nepean, around her signs being stolen, about her signs being vandalized, replaced, thrown in the garbage, I think she deserves the win. I really hope Barbara Ball sees a win in Nepean, because that would be the biggest slap in the face to Mark Carney. A bigger slap in the face that's coming to Canadians, and now one that I want to get into, the main point of this video. Um, Again, I want to try and keep it as light as we can, because I want people high spirited going into this election. Mistakes like this that you just saw are the reason that we're winning, folks. We've seen lefties losing it. We've seen people tearing up signs. We've seen people getting arrested for wrecking signs. But this takes the cake. Now Mark Carney and the Liberals are doing anything they can to win. Often when you look at provincial polling, or when you look at the numbers in elections, many say that by the time the federal election hits from Ontario to the Manitoba border, the election is over, so those seats don't matter. Yes, they absolutely do, because there's seats for the party to fill in the House of Commons. That's getting your representatives for your communities, your areas in. It's important to get out and vote regardless. But what we're seeing here is a little tomfoolery, because the rural centers, the urban centers, I shouldn't say the rural, the urban centers, the cities, are often voting and starting to turn to voting for Liberals, for NDP, etc. Even in Alberta, you're starting to see NDP because of unions. A lot of NDP supporters in major cities like Edmonton. We've seen it in provincial elections. Well, now, Cian Bexte tweeting out that Elections Canada is now preventing rural voters from accessing polling stations. Why? The rural voters tend to vote Conservative. Now, it's alarming by where this is happening, but Cian Bexte tweeting out Elections Canada is preventing rural voters from accessing polling stations. This is outrageous. If you don't live in an urban center, they don't want you to vote. Again, rural typically votes Conservative. They vote with common sense. Why? It's farmers, it's business owners, it's people who just stay away from the woke nonsense that spreads throughout these urban centers. They've actually got a mind of their own. They're not easily manipulated. Down here, it says the residents of two villages northwest of Lethbridge, Alberta, are voicing concerns after they discovered there will be no polling locations in either community. As Justin Sibbett reports, voters are being told to travel quite a distance to cast their ballots. This is unacceptable, because they're hoping that it just discourages, my guess is that it discourages people from going to the polls. It discourages them due to access, to say, well, I'm not going to drive for X amount of kilometers. I'm not going to drive out of my way to make sure that, my ballot's cast. Who cares? My vote doesn't matter anyways. This is exactly what they want. Now, I don't know if it's happening anywhere else, and people will say, well, why is this important in Alberta? I'll tell you exactly why. If you watch provincial elections, if you watch what happened with Danielle Smith in the last provincial election, Lethbridge is very heavily NDP. Why? The education system, the unions, the medical staff that are all out there, again, all tied to unions, QP, massive influence in Lethbridge. It's also a very woke town. A lot of the people there vote NDP. In fact, the majority of the NDP votes that go for the federal or for the provincial government come through Lethbridge. So a lot of people are paranoid and worried that this could stick into our next provincial elections. I don't know if other provinces have been cutting out polling stations for rural Albertans or rural Canadian voters across the country. But if that's the case, this is to swing the vote in favor of them. This is where we talk about rigged polls. We already know that the polls are focused on certain demographics, certain areas in order to produce a result. If you're making it too difficult for people to cast their ballots, you're running into a major problem with people exercising their constitutional right to vote for a government in place, to put their government in place, to give them a mandate. This could be catastrophic towards provincial elections. It could be catastrophic towards federal elections. You got to stop all of this. You have to make sure that you're out and voting in this next election. It doesn't matter if you got to drive, get in your car, go and vote. Let's see a massive turnout. Don't get discouraged, folks. I personally don't believe the polls. I don't think many viewers of this channel believe the polls. But we have to keep the pressure on. We have to make sure we do our due diligence. We have to make sure we encourage those around us who may not be willing to vote to get in and vote, do their civic duty as a Canadian. I would like to see an above 60% voter turnout nationwide on election night. I'll be covering the election here. But it's very alarming to think that if any federal party or those running these elections were to succeed at shutting down polling stations, what that might mean for provincial elections, what it might mean for municipal elections, if it's a new dirty tactic for them to employ, and they may have excuses for it, it should not be constitutionally sound for them to do so. This is our God-given right. We must exercise it in the most important election of our generation. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think this is a tactic by the Liberals? Do you think this is a tactic by Elections Canada to try and single out the rural vote and promote more urban voting? Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think is going to happen with Barbara Ball? Let me know your thoughts on that down below as well. If it's your first time here, again, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Please make sure to hit that button, guys. I know everybody gets sick of me asking, but it's most important, especially in the next 2 weeks, for you to get all the news that's dropping. Anything is, I know this video isn't really like chock full of like Carney news and things that are happening, but anytime things drop, videos are coming out, the information is coming your way. Follow not just this channel, again, all Canadian content creators that are in politics that you follow on this channel to avoid them being censored out. Turn on your bells for all notifications. Join me Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our weekly live streaming show where I'll be joined by the beautiful Mrs. Fringe as we sit down and talk about everything that's happened this week in politics, everything we know that's coming up ahead, as well as back and forth Q&A within the greatest YouTube community on the platform. I look forward to talking to you guys outside of making these videos, and I most importantly look forward to hearing what you have to say this Friday night, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.